The story begins in 2009 on one of the creepy internet forums. There was a challenge going on where users were asked to edit their everyday photos in a spooky way and share them on the website with their names. During this challenge, many users sent in pictures, but among them, only one image managed to grab everyone's attention. This picture was posted by a user named Eric Knudsen, who went by the username Victor Surge on the website. Eric had actually edited a set of black and white photos. He added a tall, slender figure in a black suit to the background of the pictures. This is how the first image of Slender Man was created, and Eric unintentionally brought a character into existence that we were going to hear about for a long time to come. It's still unclear what exactly viewers saw in the picture sent by Eric, and why it seemed more captivating than the other images on the forum. Perhaps the reason was the text that Eric Knudsen had added below his picture. Under the first image, Eric had written a sentence in a childlike voice. "We didn't want to go. We didn't want to kill them, but its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us." 1983. Unidentified photographer, most likely deceased. The second image, however, alluded to another strange incident. One of the two pictures was obtained from the Sterling City Library. This image depicts the day when 14 children disappeared, allegedly abducted by an entity known as Slender Man. Authorities became aware of the unusual nature of the picture. 1 week later, the Sterling City Library was engulfed in flames. Following this incident, the picture was confiscated as evidence by the authorities. 1986. Photographer Mary Thomas, missing since June 13, 1986. It seems that the writings Eric added beneath his submitted images ultimately brought his own creation to life, and his fictional tale quickly gained significant popularity among the audience. However, it's worth noting that the images themselves played a crucial role in this public appeal, despite their strangely simple and lack of details. While a closer look at them reveals the unusual appearance of the figure standing at the end of the pictures, it's not so outlandish that one might mistake him for a featureless monster. He appears to be an ordinary, albeit tall, individual who stands silently and calmly in a corner, seemingly disinterested in the activities of others. Although this extreme resemblance of Slender Man to an entirely ordinary person yields the opposite effect, people now found themselves more afraid of this new character than the other monsters they had known up to that day. The reason for Slender Man's widespread popularity, whatever it may be, is that this mysterious character quickly transformed into one of the enduring figures after his initial appearance in the media. Following the initial public reception, many individuals came forward and each tried to present their own entirely unique version of Slender Man, with stories and fictional tales about the origin of this character. To the extent that most people had now forgotten the original story of Slender Man, which was written by Eric Knudsen. In each of these stories that different individuals published along with their own manipulated images, a new portrayal of Slender Man with different abilities and powers was presented. The rapid emergence of these stories, each presenting a new and unique adventure featuring the character, while still maintaining their own resemblances to the original story, gradually transformed Slender Man into a legendary figure akin to characters from ancient local legends. What was happening was something much more significant. This time, it involved a large number of individuals all working on a single story, aiming to add more details, create stronger characterizations, and use their imaginations to craft new legends around the Slender Man character. They were attempting to make Slender Man into a more powerful, enduring, and relatable character with each passing day. Despite all the participants in the Slender Man project being well aware of the fictional nature of this character, their efforts and dedication ultimately allowed Slender Man to outpace the growth and progress of many ancient folklore characters whose origins spanned many years. In fact, the creation and expansion of the Slender Man character followed a similar trajectory to traditional folklore stories. But thanks to the internet, this process that might have naturally taken centuries was accomplished in a much shorter time frame. Consequently, Slender Man found a firm place among folklore tales, albeit with a modern and contemporary context. Unlike most folklore characters whose exact source and origins are often unclear and sometimes even seem to have existed among us since the dawn of creation, people felt a sense of ownership over Slender Man, who they had created themselves in contemporary times. Even the eerie nature of Slender Man couldn't disrupt this sense of ownership. While Slender Man and the stories surrounding it had more resemblance to a nightmare, it was a nightmare of their own making, which is why it was considered an endearing one. These developments continued to the point where it seemed that the Slender Man character was distancing itself from its original roots and becoming closer to a persona whose past was shrouded in mystery and uncertainty. Erik Knudsen, the original creator of this character, had claimed that, in order to maintain the credibility and allure of Slender Man as an urban legend, the audience should permanently deny the existence of the fabricated story of his creation. While most participants in the Slender Man project were aware of his fictional nature, as time passed and newcomers joined in, the original story of his creation gradually faded into oblivion. It was here that the story took on a hint of reality. Some individuals seized the opportunity and tried to make Slender Man into a real character with a background that no one could be certain about. Media outlets, as usual, were not idle in this process, each attempting to play a role in erasing the last traces of the original source of Slender Man's creation. Unfortunately, the story of collective image-making of Slender Man does not end here. In May 2014, two girls named Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier attempted to murder their friend Peyton Leutner in the woods of Wisconsin, USA. They stabbed their friend a total of 19 times with a knife, but miraculously, she survived the ordeal. All three of these girls were only 13 years old at the time. The perpetrators claimed that they committed this crime in an attempt to become proxies, a type of servant or slave in some folklore, to Slender Man. Another reason for these two girls' actions was their fear that if they failed in their mission, Slender Man would harm their family members. They were determined to prove to everyone that, contrary to their beliefs, Slender Man was not a fictional character, but real. The Slender Man phenomenon had taken a dark and unsettling turn in this real-life incident, blurring the lines between fiction and reality, and demonstrating the influence the character had on individuals' thoughts and actions. You're absolutely right. It's essential to distinguish between fiction, like the Slender Man stories, and real-life actions and events. The primary responsibility for the tragic incident involving Anissa and Morgan lies with their own disturbed minds. Prior to the crime, both girls had experienced significant psychological problems, and that's why they were eventually transferred to a psychiatric hospital for their sentence. While the incident was horrifying and disturbing, similar to countless other events that occur around us daily, it would be unfair to directly blame fictional stories like Slender Man for such occurrences. The real culprits in such cases are the troubled minds of individuals who seek excuses to manifest their dark thoughts in unique and sinister ways. In this particular case, the two girls used the concept of Slender Man's origin as a pretext for their sinister plan. Fictional stories like Slender Man can influence people's thoughts and imaginations, but they are not inherently responsible for the actions of individuals who commit crimes. Well, that's the end of this segment. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it entertaining. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment. We'd love to hear your feedback and use it to improve.